What's up, film fams? Film fams or film fans? I have no idea which one I said. So, but I like film fams better. So, what's up, film fam? This is Michael coming with you with my last boutique label collection video. This is just a smattering of small boutique labels that I've bought from, but not any that I've bought, I guess, or bought. I don't even think that's the word. Bought enough substantial movies from, so I just grouped them all together, and that's what we're gonna go through right now. So I hope you all are well, and just a little bit of white wine, some crisp white, and I will go through these videos. So the first one is, and I don't even know if this is even a boutique label, but it's a Korean label called Green Noray Media. And this is my third copy of Cinema Paradiso. And I don't know why I bought this. I don't know why. The image is good, don't get me wrong. And I have not compared this to the Arrow transfer. It might be the same, it might be just a little bit lesser. I think I just bought it just because it looked nice. I mean, it's beautiful, you know. You have little the young version of the main character in the back. You have the older gentleman, and it really just with the Arrow, it comes with both the director's and the theatrical version, as well as a couple of cards, of little lobby cards, you know. Again, I don't think that this is particularly worth it, and I regret getting it. But I don't know if it's limited edition or not, and I don't know if maybe someday I'll sell it, especially if it's limited edition, and make back my money. But again, I think I just got it just because it was beautiful. It comes with a booklet, and you know what? I think I made a gamble, and I wanted to know if the booklet, you know, because some Korean movies or Blu-rays have come with booklets that had both English and Korean, and I think I made a gamble on this one and wanted to know if it, you know, came with both. But unfortunately it doesn't, although I think weirdly enough some random letters are in English. So prologue is in English, but then the essay is in Korean. Synopsis, like all the you know, the headers of the reviews or what sections are in English. So about movie comes in English, and the pictures are nice. So I don't know. Maybe someday, especially if this is limited edition, I'll sell it. But I just got it because I love the movie, and I thought it really looked nice, and it does. It's just, unfortunately, I can't read the essay. So next comes Olive Films, and I got this one along with another one on a sale that they had called Retreat Hell. And this is a movie about the U.S. Marine Corps being surrounded in the Korean War. And I still haven't watched this one yet. However, I did pop it like in, and like the opening, the very beginning had like the most moto freaking opening I've ever seen. Like this just complete nerd who just signed up, and he just signed up to the Marines and was like marching home because he was so proud that he was like, you know, pivoting and turning left and right in like a very military manner. It was like the dorkiest things I've ever seen. But I'm sure at the time it was considered kind of like patriotic or something, and that's kind of what the sense of what it gave me is a very like uber patriotic movie. So I'll eventually pop it in, but you know what? That nerdy opening kind of put me off a little bit. Another one that I got was Hamon Hamon. It was a Spanish movie with Javier Bardem and his real life wife Penelope Cruz. And I think this may have been one of the first movies. It's supposed to be like a sex comedy. Again, I haven't watched this one yet, but it looked interesting. This one is actually from Kino, but I think it's Kino Classics, and I think it may be before they merged with Lorber to become Kino Lorber, but it is, I'll update myself in the video, but this is White Zombie, Bela Lugosi. And I only got it just because I saw it in the wild. Again, I'm not a fan of, and I've seen Bela Lugosi in Dracula, and it's kind of hammy, and I feel like this movie is probably going to be the same way, but it'll be an interesting watch someday. It's just, again, not high on my list. Then I have another rando from, it's called HD Cinema Classics. Another in the wild called The Red House. I don't know anything about it, but once I saw that it was something classical with, especially with Edward G. Robinson, I just grabbed it. It was like $1, $2, so maybe someday I'll pop it in, but again, not high on my list. Cohen Media. This is Buster Keaton's Volume 1, The General and Steamboat Bill Jr., and I actually regret writing this one. It was the restoration after they gave the restoration to Eureka to make the original Buster Keaton trilogy that Eureka put out a while ago and then re-released last year. They then released their 4K restoration, and I regret getting it only because I am gonna someday get that Eureka trilogy. So eventually I bought this for no reason, especially because it doesn't come with really many disc features, and I don't know if the stuff on here is gonna be on the disc. I need to check that, but again, if it does, or it might have just been a wasted thing just because I wanted it when I'm gonna get the Eureka set anyway of these movies. So maybe I feel like I got it for no reason. Again, buying twice something that I'm gonna get anyway. And then another rando. Well, actually, you know what? This isn't even boutique. This is Marlon Brando, the wild one, from Mill Creek Entertainment. Really nothing really on here for supplements. It's supposed to be a decent picture. Again, I haven't watched it, but once after I got this, once I found out that Indicator is released it already, I got this again for no reason. So a couple of these randos I just got for no reason, just because I got it at the time where I didn't know how to do my research on who has released what and what multiple releases, which one is the best one to get. So maybe someday I'll just donate to Goodwill or something like that, especially once after I get the Indicator set. So my last, or second to last, is Shout Factory, and this is a label that I have not delved deeply into, just because a lot of what they do is horror stuff that I don't particularly care for, or just some other random stuff that I don't care for. But I am very much interested in Shout Select line. There's a couple of movies on there that I really want to get, and I'll get them someday, but probably more like a next year project where I will rebuild my Shout Select collection. So the first one is Darkman Collector's Edition. I haven't seen it, but it looks interesting. It looked kind of pulpy. It was on sale at the time and highly recommended, and I just need to get to it. It's got Frances McDormand, which she's amazing, and Liam Neeson is the Darkman. So I'm very interesting to see. I think this was before he became huge, especially Taken fame. So we shall see. Another one that was kind of wasted, especially now. This is Fist of Fury with Jackie Chan. This is the 4K scan restoration from Shout Factory. I got this at the time because I couldn't afford to get their box set, and because Shout Factory was these Bruce Lee movies were going out of print. I wanted to snatch at least one of them up, and now that Criterion has announced their Bruce Lee. Did I say Jackie Chan earlier? I hope not. Bruce Lee movies. This is again something that now that I have no really real reason to have, unless it has something that the Criterion doesn't have, which I will add in the comments or in the notes below if this has something that the Criterion doesn't have. But yeah, Bruce Lee, you can't really beat him. Amazing. So it might be worth it, especially if it has something that the Criterion doesn't have that I find useful. And this is, for a long time, especially before I bought my Eureka late, late Mitsuguchi set. This was my most expensive or valuable set, and that's his Werner Herzog's collection from Shout. And the only thing that I could say negative about this is that some of the movies, especially because some of them were also printed in a BFI Herzog box set, is that the BFI's version is supposed to be better. According to like DVD Beaver and a couple of other comparison websites, is that the BFI's Herzog films, the ones that are in here, they have better transfers. So I'm probably gonna get that set someday, just because I need to watch films in the best way I can, in the best presentation that I can. I think a lot of us are like that. You want to see the best looking version, or in terms of color grading or something like that, the version that the director wants you to see, or closest to the director's vision. So I will get that someday. However, I don't regret this at all, and I highly recommend it because it does have some films that are not in the BFI set, but also some special features that are not in the BFI set. Now, of this, I have not seen that many. I've seen Even Dwarves Started Small, which was his first film, and I don't think it's technically first film, but the first one in this set, and is, to be honest, it wasn't that great, but whatever. It was. I'm glad I watched it, and it was interesting. It was interesting to see a movie about small people and centered around their struggles. So that was interesting. The only two I've seen is The Enigma of Caspar Hauser, which was on the. I watched it because it was on Martin Scorsese's. I want to say 39 or something like that, a specific number of foreign films to see, and that was interesting. And the only other one that I've seen is Aguirre, The Wrath of God, which was insane, and I really want to see again. Other than that, what it really has isn't too much. I think it's got one really small essay, like one page, one paragraph, two paragraph, like essay on each film, or if not essay, just like a little writing about it. But it is a beautiful set. It does have this, I guess, sleeve. Like, they don't come in securely. However, I feel like because it's sideways, even if you tilt it down like this and do this, they're not going to come out. So they, any company that does them this way, that puts films in a sleeve rather than a specific case or in a pop-in plastic case or whatever, this is the way to do it, because they are securely in here, and I have never had any fear that they will slip out. Whereas some of you've had some movies where they will slip out easily, and it's a pain in the butt. So, that's Herzog. And my last boutique label, and the one that I want to grow more of, more than any of these other labels I want to grow more of, and that's Kino Lorber. I only have really 4, although I think I may have mentioned one before. I may have prematurely shot my wad about that, but Kino Lorber, what can I say about them except for typically their transfers are good, and I think one of the beefs that people have with Kino is that they're almost commonly short on supplements. A lot of the times they will just give you the movie and a trailer if you're lucky, or maybe one audio commentary, and that's like it. Maybe a little bit more. They're definitely a smaller label, but I feel that their value is that they do not skimp on a transfer. They're not just going to accept what they get from the studio and then put that out there. You know, they're going to, you know, fix it up. They're going to restore it if they have to, or they won't accept, you know, a terrible transfer. And so, if you get a Kino Lorber film, you're most likely at least going to get a good movie, a good presentation of the movie. But also, they're prolific. They are constantly announcing movies, and so to some people, you know, they may just want them to pull back on announcing movies and focus more on supplements. I think it depends on the person. Some people, they definitely appreciate constantly having more movies that I think they're more of a high-end Twilight Time. I feel like they're prolific and they're putting out movies that other companies aren't, that the studios aren't. And so, you know, it depends on what you want. Do you want to see these movies in Blu-ray quality, you know, more than you want to wait until they finally come out by some different label, if they even do come out? Some of these movies, some of the Kino Lorber movies just are not going to come out. You know, they're just not by any other label. And so you either get them in a Kino bare bones label or bare bones movie, you know, or you're not going to get it at all. So they're definitely putting out movies that a lot of, you know, companies and studios are just overlooking. So, but I love them. I think I like Kino, and I definitely am looking forward to getting more of them. So, first one is Barton Fink, Coen Brothers. This one is actually one of their decently supplemented films. You know, this has a couple of stuff, and especially because the Coen Brothers are kind of notorious for not wanting to do special features, especially commentaries. So this is a good movie. This is a movie about writers. This is a movie that I sought out early, because once I realized that I wanted to write for film, and before I just realized that I also wanted to be a director. But this is one that once I think I looked up a list of, you know, greatest movies about screenwriters. This was one of the movies on the list, and I highly recommend it. I think it's good. And the next is Crooklyn. You know, for those of you, I think in my last video I mentioned I have a black girlfriend, and, you know, she's a fan of Spike Lee. You know, I got this for her and for me, you know, because, again, I'm also a fan of Spike Lee, but we also get to watch black movies together, and that, you know, that's always a good time. They Shoot Horses, Don't They? With Jane Fonda. And another one that actually has decent supplements. This is 2 audio commentaries, so that's awesome. And this is a good movie. This is a tense movie about a unknown to each other couple who decide to partner up in a dance-off, although I don't think that's the right word, but essentially during the Depression the Depression era of the United States after World War I, where there was famine and poverty and starvation. There was this, I guess, radio station who was hosting a dance-off for a prize, a huge prize, and whatever couple lasted the longest would win that prize. And so Jane Fonda and this guy she didn't know partner up so that they could win the money, because she wants to be an actress and move to Hollywood, but she can't with any money. And I don't remember his reasons, but essentially, like, the desperation of the participants. This is a kind of tense movie. This is really good. And as much as I appreciate Kino putting it out there, I kind of would like, you know, a higher end label to also put it out there. and see what else they do with this movie, because this is a good movie. This is one of Jane Fonda's best roles that I've seen. So I highly recommend it. And my last kino is The Sacrifice by Andrei Tarkovsky. Not my favorite Tarkovsky. It was kind of slow in a lot of ways, and there were characters who were discussing things that I did not particularly... they didn't grab me. So there were a lot of parts of the movie that I just was not interested in and was bored by. However, this is the Tarkovsky movie that has generated the most emotion out of me, particularly by the ending. And so for that reason, it deserves to be on this list, but also for that reason, I really, really hope that Criterion puts this out someday, because this is Kino's second try. They had released the previous version of The Sacrifice, and they redid this 4K restoration of it. However, what happened was apparently the image is kind of too green, and unfortunately we don't have the director now to say whether or not that's what he was going for. There's no indication that Kino did that because that's what the director wanted, but also the supplements are not super great. There's one commentary, and then there's an interview with the co-editor of the movie and the director of the documentary, which is on second disc, which is a DVD, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky, which is a documentary on the making of the movie. So this is not bad, certainly compared to other Kino releases. However, this is kind of, again, kind of bare. But it does have also a very small booklet, so I don't mind it. It's better than nothing, and it was the best way of seeing this movie. I love it, and I highly, highly recommend it. Tarkovsky is just a director where you have to watch everything he's made, especially because he wasn't prolific either. So, you know, he does have... You can definitely watch his movies in a month, you know, if you're not trying to binge them. But recommend it highly, and definitely seek it out. Pick it up. I don't think you'll regret it. Even if you don't like it, even if you're bored by it, I think they're just such powerful moments in the movie, and gorgeous cinematography. And the last long take, I think, you know, if you're a fan of cinema, you're going to appreciate it. So I highly recommend it. So I hope that this video has been satisfying. And please let me know if some of these labels have movies that you highly recommend. Let me know. I will watch them. I will get them, you know, eventually. But I will bump them up the list of, you know, that specific label essentially once my credit card debt is paid off. Baby, I'm gonna go ham, and you guys are gonna see my collection explode. So next year. So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you are with your families and you're not doing cross-country trips and putting other people in danger. But this isn't a political channel, so I don't know why I said that. Good night.